it was a special meeting, I don't know why, it was in the, at Atwater, the usual place. And Peter and Robert, I think, were both there, young students at the time. It's, a lot's changed since then. I had a little speech, but I'll sit down.
Sit down. You just sit down and get yourself comfortable. Look at this. Here we go.
I used to live in Montreal with my parents, and we moved to Westmount when I was 6 years old. And for 20 years, I lived in 4 different places between Atwater and Claremont Avenue, so I was close to where there were a lot of birds. And on the weekends, my parents used to take me to Mount Royal or Westmount Summit, Murray Park, and eventually we ended up living on Melville Avenue right beside Westmount Park. And I always look forward to the first white-throated sparrows in the springtime. And I built up quite a collection of lapel pins that Gladys Hibbert used to give out to all the children that came to the meetings, but I didn't join the society at the time. I finally joined in 1961 at the annual meeting. It wasn't an annual meeting, but it was at Redpath. And as I said, you were both members. And I always remember much later than that, a few years later, we were on a trip to Ile Des Moines, and Peter and Robert turned up with bottles of wine and other goodies. I'll always remember that.
Was that before the Brandy Alexanders or after the Brandy Alexanders? The birding days, eh?
And they and many others, too numerous to mention, became friends and provided lifts to field trips. I don't drive, so it was great to get rides from people to places I would never got to go birding, tending for so many kind people willing to take me. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, other people I'd like to mention who used to take me to do breeding bird censuses and Christmas counts. Michael Spencer, Eric Tull, Joe Wright, Mark Hendrick, and Judge Montgomery, of course, and especially Bob Farnhurst, who helped me conduct breeding bird and other surveys and censuses during the 1960s. And others, Peter Gosselin, Normand David, Pierre Bannon, gave me lifts to look for rare birds. At that time, I was a great lister. I kept using the checklist providing the PQSPB, and I went to Derby Hill in 1966 to see the hawk migration. And I went there 6 years in a row, and it led to Jack and Marion Steves and I looking around south of Valley Field, next to New York State, for a site for the spring hawk watch, which we finally picked, and it's still being covered by Bob and me, and the French group also have a spot where they watch the hawks. My big project with Bob was, of course, monitoring hawk migration. And we've done it for 3 months, every spring and fall for 40 years. And Bob once calculated that we put in over 100,000 hours counting hawks. But I enjoyed it, even many days when there were 0 hawks. Something usually turned up that was unusual, and even if not, it went toward the count and the study of the raptor migration, and it is showing up now how there is a change from when we first started. Well, I can't do as much as I used to do, but I'm still going out every day that it isn't rainy. And I want to thank everybody from the Quebec Oiseau and PPSPB. Now, Bird Protection Quebec, I can't get quite used to it. And especially Helen Meredith, she worked all summer to submit an application for the Sovereign's Award for volunteers. And so thank you to all the people who helped her. And it was a big surprise when it's all happened, especially the 2 awards so close together. Thank you all very much.